So, again, we got just a few minutes here to get kind of warmed up. For those of you that are coming on, because I'm already seeing about 25 people on board, we're really focusing today on keeping this about as casual as we can. Now we're starting to get a few more, actually a couple questions coming in already. Pamela, I see that you came on. Lance. Pamela, so I see that note in there as far as knowing Harold from World War II. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, to be honest with you.
Yes.
So, and we got a new person that I'm going to find out where we're going to get lobster from. So, Pamela, I had to buy some lobster tails at Costco, and that was a mistake. So, let me know if I can hit you up down the road, okay?
Chris here, injured, escorting Bill G. Hi, Chris.
All right. Well, like I said, we got a couple more minutes, you guys. What I'll tell you is we're going to kind of hold off on things because it's really hard to get redundant on some of the things that we want to talk about. We've got a short time, and we're gonna stay here as long as the questions are coming in. Good. What I'm really happy about is we're down to 1 minute before we start. So again, I'm just throwing the elephant on the table, saying this first couple of minutes is a little bit weird while we're waiting for folks to come on, but we definitely got a lot of folks that are coming on board here. So, folks, I'm going to just for those almost 30 of you guys that are online already with us right now, we're going to go through some topics that we brought in, but I kind of want to get started in this early, saying the more questions and comments you send our way, the more fluid we can keep this. We don't want this to be something to where we're just talking the whole time and we're not addressing what's important to everybody who's viewing us tonight. So that's really about my only rule. Well, Ben, I wish you could be too. And James, seeing you coming on. Mr. Geis, it was really great seeing you in the hallway today. Wasn't sure if you're going to be able to join us tonight, but thanks for taking a couple of minutes. Okay, well, I'm gonna go live here. So it is 7 o'clock. So this is what we're calling our first annual. We're gonna be doing this monthly, everybody. But my name is Joe Goering. I'm the Vice President of Recruiting. I just celebrated 30 years with Anderson Trucking last November. A whole lot of our drivers that are active with me, I know most of you, and I'm going to turn the table over for Jimmy for you to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Joe. Hi, guys. I'm Jimmy Williams. I've been at ATS about 2.5 years, going on 3 years. I've only worked for Joe. The company has been awesome to me, and I know it's awesome to our drivers. And I really wanted to be a part of this for the first one to kind of help, get this moving, to hear from our drivers, right? Because this is what it's all about. It's about the driver experience. It's about how we interact with you, and we want to hear what is most important to you guys. So thank you for those who took the time to view what me and Joe got to say tonight.
Well, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of start out. So this is going to be something that we're doing monthly, and so I've got a couple of requests, and so we picked 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night randomly. This time of the day has usually been pretty good for us. But we really need to hear from everybody who's viewing on, is there a better day and a better time? Because we're not necessarily concerned about what time of the day we come in. We just want to make sure that we're hitting as many of you drivers when it's ideal for you. So any recommendations, please send them our way. And I'm just going to add to that real quick, Jimmy, before you go to your point, is for upcoming events, if there's like 2 or 3 main topics that you want to be talking about during these Facebook Lives, please just make sure that you give us some of that so we can prepare for it, because we want these to be beneficial. You're taking your time to spend some time with Anderson Trucking Service. We want to make sure we're making it as value for you as possible.
Exactly what Joe said. I mean, what matters to you guys is what matters to us, right? That's first and foremost. And we feel we got a pretty good grasp of what the industry is doing, what we feel is important, but ultimately it's what you guys feel is most important. So that's what we're hoping to see. And keep the comments rolling. Let us know. Let us know how we can be better, right? We can put the elephant on the table, and we can hear maybe what we're not doing so good at right now, and try to change that. But again, this is all about you and going forward. And as Joe said, we want to make this continual, month after month after month, to try to increase the knowledge of ATS out there, but also to help you guys with what we're looking to do, try to do. So thanks for everybody that's joined us so far. And I know we've got some topics. We've got a whole lot of things that we're looking to do. Lobster, somebody's mentioned lobster as a comment. I mean, we'd like some lobster right now too. But again, it's all about you. So if we can get some interaction with you, that's great. Joe and I, we love to talk, right? So we can sit here and talk, but we'd really like to hear from you guys with really what's important.
And Jimmy, I'm going to jump in real quick. So, hey, Penny, I see your comment online, and listen, you know me as good as anybody. You got something you need to talk to us about. I'd really appreciate it if you just gave me a phone call. So, we're not going to jump into something like that on this, but you know me well enough. I'm kind of surprised on seeing that, but I have no problem with that whatsoever. You need to have me send you a note offline. I will be happy to do that. You will get a phone call from me tomorrow. I just want to call that out real quick before we jump onto some of these other questions, okay? So, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and start with one thing. There's a lot of folks that probably just don't even know who ATS is. We're known by the name ATS. We're known by the name of Anderson Trucking Service. We had started business back in 1955. We're in our third generation. So I was personally hired by Harold Anderson back in late 1989. I worked for Raleigh Anderson for 22 years directly. And I now work with both Scott and Brent Anderson, who are third generation. We're a family-held business. We operate a fleet of about 1,500 trucks. We've got a good mixture between a flatbed specialized division, a van over-the-road division, and then a heavy haul division. And so just want to let you know a little bit more about who we are, what we do. We are an over-the-road company. We've got a couple of pockets for some of our regional drivers that need to get home weekly, but really it's just more of a Midwest regional area. And then we've also got a Southeast regional area. But I just want to be really clear up front. We are an over-the-road company to where if you're okay with being out and the lifestyle that you're looking for is being out 2 weeks at a time, we can make you very successful. For drivers that want to be out 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, the longer you're willing to be out, obviously the more opportunity you have for making money, additional money. But a lot of the numbers that I'm going to be talking about tonight and some of the programs we have are focused around drivers that are willing to say being out 14 days at a time before going through the house is okay. So just wanted any other questions about who we are, love to cover it. But like I said, being here over 30 years, lets you know that I've got a lot of belief in this company, and I've seen all three generations hold the same values, and the values we put on our drivers, I really believe is second to none. And so I'm going to start out by just talking about pay. So anybody who's looking at Anderson Trucking Service, or any trucking company that you guys might be considering, you guys are going out and making the sacrifices to make a living. And so frankly, for me, when we're talking to a driver about pay, that's a no-brainer, in my opinion. Jimmy, I don't know if you have anything to add to that. You take a lot of the phone calls.
That's just it, and it's a three-legged stool, right? So it's money, it's home time, right, and it's respect, right? That's what ATS. It's all about the driver experience. So if you take one of those legs away from the chair, it doesn't work, right? And one of the most important things that I think is the communication that we have as a team, but then also try to get that to the driver. So the one thing that I try to stress with every driver I talk to is those three values: money, home time, and respect. You're going to get the respect. You will not be a truck number when you get here. If I was a truck driver, Paul Irvin, one of our recruiters, is Paul Irvin. He's not truck 1472, right? The one thing I know with working with Joe is Joe knows every single driver that's at ATS, and Joe has the utmost respect for those drivers, and vice versa, right? So I think it all comes down to the three-legged stool, right? Money, home time, and respect, and that is what you will get as a driver at ATS.
And I just want to add something. So obviously we've got primarily two buckets of the type of professional drivers that we're looking for. So the first bucket is obviously we've got our company drivers in both our flatbed specialized and van division. And then we've got our lease program for both our flatbed specialized and van division. And so, talking about pay, I'm going to spend a little bit of time focused on some of our new company programs. It's been a little bit complicated to explain, and this is a great opportunity for us to talk this through. But the Andersons have done something that you just don't see anywhere else for our company drivers. We've got a program called Upside Pay. And upside doesn't really mean anything to anybody who's not with any Anderson Trucking. So I'm going to try to explain it, but our drivers right now, they're guaranteed a minimum CPM. So for example, our van drivers are making not less than 50 cents a mile on just pure CPM. Maybe it's a lower paying load or whatever it might be. But on that load that they get put on that's paying ATS even more, our drivers get either paid the minimum CPM or 24% of the transportation revenue. And right now, all of our drivers are making an average of over 65 cents. And this goes back to February of 2020. So it's been a very successful program. And really what it is most companies make you pick either CPM or they make you pick percentage. ATS basically it's very simple. Every load that you're dispatched on, it's going to calculate both of those scenarios of the base of 50 cents for vans, 55 cents for flatbeds, or 24% of the load. And whatever is going to pay you the greater, it automatically pays you that. But a new program that they've reached, and a lot of this comes down from COVID and comes from the market being a little bit kittywampus, is that we want all of it, especially the new drivers coming on board, to know that for their first few months here that there's not going to be any concern about what they're going to make. So on top of upside pay, which starts from day one, we have a guarantee that every 4 weeks that any of our van drivers that is not making $5,200 or any of our flatbed drivers that is not making $5,400 in that 4-week period, that we will pay the difference. In other words, if you made $5,000 as a flatbed driver, you're going to get an automatic, what we call a true up, to where that extra $400 because you didn't hit the minimum is going to be paid. This is a minimum only. Now, we haven't been having to pay that out almost at all, and there are so many circumstances of what goes out there, but there are two programs that we think are second to none. It really protects the new driver. We offer that, so this 4-week guarantee is in place for the first 12 weeks that you're on board with ATS. And if you want to kind of get a better idea of how that looks on paper, go to our Drive for ATS website, and we actually detail out all 12 weeks so you exactly know when that money is being paid out and how that works. So that's basically how our company pay is working right now. And I'll tell you right now that our company drivers, the range that they're making right now, the kind of the bare bone minimum is you're going to be around $1,300 a week, but the real range is really between about $1,300 and $1,700. And we got drivers making better than that. But we don't want any driver starting with ATS thinking they're going to make it right out of the gate. All of you guys run differently. You've got different, what your home time, needs are, and we respect that. But the drivers that are out running a little bit longer, they've absolutely got the opportunity to make more money. But the folks that are on that 2-week schedule that are okay with being out that 14 days, 13 to 17 is really the right range. And as time goes on and you learn who ATS is, that number can actually grow, obviously. Sometimes I hate it when our seasoned drivers show new drivers what they're making because the new driver is expecting that right out of the gate, right?
Exactly.
So, Jimmy, you want to cover a little bit on the lease side?
The lease, but I'd like to go back to, kind of what Joe said about the upside pay. I was around when they rolled it out. I mean, I was around when, we heard about that the Andersons were testing this program. Well, before I came to ATS, I was in the corporate world, right? And I do not know of another corporation that is talking about how do we pay our employees more than increase our bottom line. That just shocked me. And when I seen what they did, and as I've been here at ATS for a while, it all again comes back to what I originally said. It comes back to you, the driver. If ATS is making more money, right, they're passing it on to you, the driver. Right, that I think is such a huge thing to know going forward as a driver, but then also, right, the guarantee pay. It's the same thing, right? If something was to go wrong, you get your truck gets you get sideswiped and your truck is down for 2 weeks. Well, you have the safety net of the guarantee pay. So It all goes from the top to the bottom, and I truly want everybody to know that as a driver advisor, it makes my job a little easier when I'm telling you, the driver, that and trying to convey the fact. And that's what I want this to be able to do, to help us convey the message of it's all about you, the driver, right? Be upfront, be open, be honest, be everything with us, and that's what we're going to do back to you. So, to what Joe was saying about the lease purchase,
Actually, Jimmy, I'm going to pause a second. I want to make sure we don't get too far behind on some of these questions. So we had a question that came up about, is there a flatbed specialized dedicated run in the South? Regrettably, listen, the flatbed freight is a true over-the-road 48 state. We don't run any dedicated right now. If you're coming on flatbed specialized, with the diversity of what kind of clients we have, when you're hauling for companies like John Deere and Caterpillar and General Electric and those kind of names, if you're a house carrier for them, you pretty much need to run where they need you to run. So at this time, we do not. Now, we do have dedicated runs in the South in our van division, but we do not on our flatbed division. So I appreciate that question.
That's a great question.
And Michael, I see that you made a comment saying that you don't work for ATS, but that your dad did, and your uncle. So
his truck number was 3. That's awesome.
I kind of hope, I'm not sure why you don't work for us, Michael, but you got the blood in the family, so I'd love to see you taking the opportunity, and maybe there's a reason why you can't, but thanks for making that comment. It makes me very happy to see that kind of generational people coming on. So, Terry, how you doing?
And there's a lease question, right?
So,
I'll jump in there, Joe.
Go ahead.
So the question was, can you pay off your truck on the 1-year lease in that year? No, right? The big thing, what I tell all my drivers too, is we own the finance company. It's called CES, right? We're giving you that 1 year to pay down on that lease. Now you're going to be able to pick a truck, meaning the driver, from a 2016 up to a brand new truck. You will know what the expected balloon payment's going to be at while you're at orientation. You'll know what your fixed expenses are, all the necessary things you need to know as a driver, right? If you picked a $140,000 truck, that's not going to get paid off in that first year, but we own the finance company, and if that's truly a truck that you'd like to buy, we would like to sit down with you and help you do that. Now,
and Jimmy, I want to just add one thing to that. So, you guys, the lease program that we've got out there, I mean, let's face it, there's no money down, there's no credit check, and I don't know if anybody else is doing a 1-year lease. And the purpose of the 1-year lease, it's for that driver that either wants to know who ATS before they put skin in the game to a down payment, or it's for that company driver that's never had that opportunity before, and they're a little bit nervous about it. I call it a cork chip. It's a 1-year contract. A year goes by in no time. It gives you the opportunity to run as a true independent contractor and to be your own boss. But then on top of that, you're going to make good money every week throughout the lease program. That's why we give you a completion bonus, because after a year, if you're happy with what you're seeing as far as within the ATS model, we've got a very high conversion rate of the drivers that come in on board and do our lease that end up saying, you know what, I want to put that money down and get into more like a 3 or 4-year lease. Now, during that period, then that truck would get paid off. And let's say if it doesn't work out for you, the worst case is you're walking away with either $4,000 or $8,000 in your pocket, and you decide what's going to be next. So we're trying to make it a really flexible program without too much pressure and requiring you guys to have to put money down into the program.
Yep, that's a great question. And the lease it's just like Joe said. I mean, there's no skin in the game, and the biggest thing I think the differentiator between us and other carriers too is it's our freight, right? There's no brokered loads up on our board. It's our customer asset freight that you're running. So we're really happy with paying the 65%. Andersons are real happy with what we negotiate with the contract. So I think our lease, when I talk and hear from other drivers, they're telling me about what they're having to pay and fixed expenses and things like that. It's not what you're having to pay coming over here. Another question came in. I love the company.
Well, you know what? Why don't you read that for a second? So one of the things I want to come back to on the lease program is like I said, the program really is set up. A driver can come in, and if you want to put money down, you can in fact get into a longer term lease right out of the gate. So if you want to do the 1-year lease program and where there's really no skin in the game, that's the most recommended because again, it's a short courtship. But I want to be clear, if your goal is to come on board, lease a truck with us, and from day one, that's the truck you want to pay off, and you do have some down payment money to put into the truck, that is absolutely an option for you. I just want to make sure that that's clear. So Jimmy, were you going to address that other question?
Yeah, no, the other question, and thank you for that, Kayvon, and Albert Dupree. Hey, thank you for joining. I hired you, sir. Thank you for the comment. And I'm glad you're still here, sir.
All right. Well, what's kind of nice is I love our own drivers that are coming on board. So thank you for that general question for the rest of the group, and I appreciate the nice words there, Kayvon. All right. So, well, and Bobby, listen, I have no problem with reaching out to you after the fact. We're not going to get into specific details, but we are. I want to just put this on the table. We are a very hard company to get qualified for. Our guidelines are about as hard as they get. Here's a stat that people don't realize, but our department gets over 4,000 applications every single month. Of the 4,000 applications, we look at about 4.7% is the actual number. So about 4.7 are what we can approve to bring to ATS, and we actually only bring in 1.2%. A whole lot of the drivers that come to ATS are actually coming through our driver referral program. The word of mouth from our drivers is probably the biggest thing that we have going for us. But there's a lot of folks that don't know who we are, but our guidelines are tough, and so I'm not sure exactly, on the comment that we got on the person that got denied multiple times. I'm not sure if it was hiring area, but I do want to stress with everybody, we don't fudge on the guidelines. We're very proud of our safety record. We have the customers we have. We think that we have the top 5% of the drivers in the industry because of safety primarily and because of longevity. We do not have local positions. We don't have a school. We don't train except for flatbeds. We do train how to do securements. So if you're a flatbed driver and you want to get into, if you're a van driver and you want to move into the territory of open deck with flatbed specialized, 47% of our drivers that come into our orientation have never pulled flatbeds before. We will train you to death as far as securement training and all of that goes, so you can continue that career. But what we don't do is we don't train new CDL drivers. We like to see 8 months minimum up to a year of over the road solo experience before you hit the basic qualifications to come in. Okay.
Paul had a good question, Joe.
Go ahead.
Company drivers, or is ATS just lease only? No, sir. We both company drivers in both van, flatbed, and heavy haul, right? And in the same categories as the lease purchase opportunities. Heavy haul does have a lease purchase opportunity. You do have to bring some money to the table, but both sides of the house, both company drivers and lease. But that is a great question, and if you're looking to come to ATS, give one of us recruiters a call, please.
Well, I want to bring up a stat that's probably important for you guys. So, again, being here for quite a long time, our mix has probably in the future been between 75% contractors and about 20 to 25% company drivers. But again, when all this COVID stuff hit, what's beautiful is to know that our model, we could swing heavy to the company side. We can swing heavy to the lease side. It's really what is the driver looking for? Yep. And the ATS puts the money back into the business, so it allows us to have a lot of flexibility with that. So we don't pay a lot of attention to what the percentages are, but I'm going to guess that ideally when we end 2021, we're probably going to have about 60% contractors and about 40% company drivers, based on what I'm seeing right now. And Bobby, you got a question or a statement saying you've got 5K down. So I'm going to let you know 5K down will allow you some options. And so send another note or I will follow back up with you and we can talk through that a little bit more later on, okay?
Look at Albert's question.
Here we go. So company drivers.
Won't let him leave.
No, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I did. Albert Dupree, I just love your comment. My wife said I can't leave. That was Albert's comment. I love that. That's awesome.
That's why I love your wife, Albert.
Exactly.
So Brett says safety. That's the main thing at ATS, and that's why I came over here. So there's a number of our drivers that are on board on this call. I want you guys to know that no matter what happens during this Facebook Live, we never know what direction they're going to go. We're trying to just be a wealth of information and be able to have you ask us. When we say ask us anything, we are fine with being asked anything. But Drive for ATS is an open Facebook page of ours, and I can tell you that we've got a lot of active drivers on there. You've got questions that you want to talk to one of our drivers, get there and ask the questions. Our drivers are our number one recruiting tool because if they're happy, they're going to tell you about it. If they're not happy, we don't have the same problems that a lot of these other carriers have got. And we're still kind of that carrier. We're not this big mega carrier. We've got all these truck empties. We're actually in a pretty good spot right now, and we're grateful that we're able to continue to be selective on what drivers that we think that we're going to be able to make successful and that we think that are going to help us be successful. So for you drivers that are on board, and Brett, once again, I appreciate those kind of comments because we don't have a second chance at safety. Me and Jimmy were actually talking before this started to say, how do you really talk about the Anderson brand? The Anderson brand is going to be safety. When you think about it, we've got what we call iDrive here. It's just the basics of the integrity, the determination, responsibility. I got to get the letters. GRI. Innovation, values is the number one thing, and excellence. We drive our entire business off of what we call iDrive. So integrity is second to none, and doing what's right is extremely important to us. And so we are that company that we don't try to have to push you 3,000 miles to make a paycheck. You can make the money with ATS running 2,000 miles, 2,200 miles, doing it safely, doing it by the E-log rules, and having plenty of time for pickup and delivery. Those are the kind of things that we just don't want to ever give up here.
Exactly. There was a question, Joe, I seen from someone. What about an old driver? Can they come back? Absolutely. And I think I recognize that name. I think I hired you. Give me a call, right? Or I will reach back out to you tomorrow. Dustin, thank you for the comment. But yes, if you were a driver that was here 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 months ago, right? Give your recruiter a call back. We'd definitely love to hear from you and have a conversation and see what you're looking for.
And really quick, hey, so Terry, thanks for being online with us today. So I do want to tell everybody we're pretty excited about this. So we hold orientation in 2 locations. I'm going to spend a couple minutes talking about it. So St. Cloud, Minnesota is our corporate office, and that's where we hold orientation for all of our independent contractors. Whether you're coming in as an owner-operator with your own truck, if you're coming on board to do a lease, just because of the administrative side of what you need to do, it's held up here in the corporate office. But Anderson just built a brand new facility. It's a new orientation and maintenance facility down in Porter, Indiana. So we've been in Gary, Indiana forever, and we're super excited about it. The technology is second to none. A whole lot of what we built mirrors what we've got up here in the corporate office. So Terry, you guys have been doing great down there with training our new drivers, and thanks for calling that out.
We get and Terry, we get lots of compliments from drivers about you and Sam down there. That is awesome. That is awesome.
Hey Ken, real quick. So bottom line, when we're talking about the percentages and all that, our 65% pay, it's a spread between 65 and 67, and you move up based on longevity. I'll be sure glad to talk with you offline, but we've done the numbers, and that percentage is doing well considering when you're looking at the entire business model. But if you'd like to talk one-on-one on that, I'll be glad to get a little bit more detailed. I don't know if I can really get into all that with you right now, because maybe you've got some things that have come up that you'd like to talk about. But if you'd like to reach out to me, one of the things what I don't think I did at the end of this is giving my name and my email and phone number. So I don't know if I'll get with somebody to see if there's a way to put that up there. But my name is Joe, and any of you that are online right now, my email is about as easy as it gets. It's just Joe, Joe, at atsinc.com. And you send me an email, and I assure you that I will personally respond and get somebody on it, okay?
And I can second that. He responds to every driver that reaches out to Joe. We'll get a phone call back. We'll get an email back. And I do the same thing. But For what this man does for everybody here, it's incredible. I told him I don't want to. I couldn't spin as many plates as he spins, and then just in the multitask he's doing right now, you can see it. It's awesome. And
Jimmy, no brownie points in here.
I know.
Okay, so let's move on.
Just try.
So, hey, and by the way, I just want to really kind of call out. So, Randy, congratulations on your retirement. Again, I love you guys that are making the comments. Extremely important because for any new driver who's checking us out, and this is going to be up for a while, but having you guys participate and making some of these comments. When I tell you guys to go to driveforats.com, our drivers will talk to you directly. Go to Google, go to Indeed, go to Glassdoor. Our drivers are willing to put reviews out there, and you ever want to talk to one of our drivers? You want to talk to 10 of their drivers? Send me a note, and I've got so many drivers willing to talk to any new flatbed driver, company or lease, any new lease driver, company or lease, or excuse me, flatbed or van. They're more than happy to do that. Okay.
Dustin, I'll call you tomorrow. Just saying.
Okay, been there real nice. You do the same with Houston. Yeah, so they're doing some work down in Houston. So some of you guys have seen our facilities, obviously, and so the facilities never stop. And all I can say is the more money we put into them, we just ask all of our new drivers, and I'm saying this to both our new drivers and our active drivers, the better you take care of them, the more the Anderson is going to keep putting into them. Sometimes it just takes those couple of rotten eggs. So help us police that because we can't keep our eyes on it 24/7. So I want to get into a couple of things. So we're into about 30 minutes of this Facebook Live.
Holy cow!
And there's a couple of bullets here that I really want to make sure that we're not missing. So the number one was obviously pay. So again, I just got to say out of just common sense, nobody wants to come to work for ATS and make less than what they're making right now, and they want to have an opportunity to make the most amount of money to raise their family. So I spent the time talking about upside pay and the 12-week guarantee that's settled up every 4 weeks. Talk a little bit about our lease purchase program and why that program is in place. So again, the averages right now, we've kind of closed the gap between what a company driver and an independent contractor can make because we frankly believe that both of you guys are out there working equally as hard. And so those ranges that are out there, I'm going to go off of historic data. But I told you guys earlier between $13 and $17, $13 and $1,800 is the range. And it depends upon what percentile because we got some drivers that absolutely want to go home every 2 weeks and they want to spend 3, sometimes 4 days home. And then we got the guys that are out there running 3 or 4 weeks. That's what that separates that bridge. But then we've got classifications of drivers. The more time you've got with us, the more experience that you've got, every one of those is a pay raise for you. And let's talk about flatbed specialized. You come on board starting as a what we call a class 4, and that's a 5-axle combination. That flatbed driver can go from a 5-axle combination up to a 19-axle combination. That's a really big bridge to go. Now most folks get part way on that bridge and say, okay, I've had enough. I don't want to get any bigger. But the opportunities are there if that's what you're looking to do. And on the van side, of course, we're recognizing the things by tenure. So again, on the flatbed side or on the company side, 13 to 17, 13 to 18 is the real number. We got drivers making better than that, but I'd rather start a little conservative to start with. And then on the lease side, you should realistically be making between $14 and up to $2,000. And again, that range is based on how long you're being out there. The lease drivers, you got truck payments and all of that. So managing your time, your home time, what freight you're turning down, waiting for that load that pays up $250 every time. If you let us work with you, I assure you that you'll be successful. And I got to tell you, we're pretty stoked about what freight has been like for us in 2020 and what we're seeing in 2021. Jimmy, do you want to cover a couple of the stats that we got?
That's exactly where I was going. What I loved about this is I'm getting more knowledge to help me when I'm talking to the drivers. But just a simple thing that stuck out to me was January and February rates are up 46.4 cents a mile. March is trending at $2.53 a mile, which is 65 cents better than it was a year ago. That to me is outstanding, right? And it's not just this is flatbed. with the vans, the volumes are projected to be much higher this year than the COVID, obviously. But all three of our divisions, whether it's heavy haul, whether it's vans, whether it's flatbed, we're all negotiating with our customers, but we're all seeing a solid increase in the freight, which is going to then, result in better pay for you, the driver, and more freight for you able to pull. So, again, this is knowledgeable for me too, everyone, because I'm the driver advisor that's talking to you all. So it's going to help me to try to get information to you, but then also, right, for us to be able to present it out to you. So I am extremely excited about what I'm seeing here with the information we got from our operations team.
And one of the things that really stood out to me, everybody, is just to give you an idea. In March, we're trending at about $2.53 a mile. That's 64 cents a mile better than March of 2020. So that just gives you an idea of how strong the freight really is out there right now. Yep. And on our flatbed side, you guys, I want to obviously that took a hit for us last year, and that when everybody shut down the economy, we're a carrier that hauls for the big manufacturers, but they've done some tremendous things to keep our drivers busy. It looks like I've grabbed the wrong sheet. So March it's staying extremely strong. We're up about 5% over February, 7 days into the month. So we are seeing the CPM continually grow in that area as well. Jimmy, did you want to cover this next one?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're aggressively, like I was saying, renegotiating contracts so we have the best possible paying freight for you, the driver, right? Because that's what it all comes down to, right? The customer base, they're trusting ATS to get it from point B because of you, the driver. Now we're being able to negotiate higher rates. Then in turns, it increases your paycheck and keeps your wallet fat and healthy.
Well, and one quick thing here too is, you guys, one of the most important things is, you hear the word stability. I got to be honest with you guys. The reason Anderson Trucking is so stable is, again, we've been around a long time. We're known by shippers, and for shippers to use us, they've got to pay the rates that get the quality drivers that we're out looking for. But we have to keep a tremendous amount of freight in the system, so we're giving you guys as many options as we possibly can. We've got a logistics arm as well, so what's kind of nice is if something does slow down, like what happened during parts of COVID, we do have other places where we can pull freight into the system, but it's always about making sure that we're giving you guys a number of options to go after, and that continues to be really strong.
Exactly, and even our customer base, right? I get drivers and they ask me, why is that? Well, to me, right, and to you, the driver, that should be one of the most important factors in that. Knowing that we've got a strong customer base, right? Knowing that means you're going to become familiar with that customer base, going back and forth, and knowing that ATS is negotiating higher rates for you, the driver. So. I simply stress to every new driver that I talk to, it's our customer base. It's the respect that you're going to get here as an ATS driver. And what I just again love with everything I'm finding, in doing this to present to you, the driver, is how healthy we are as a company. Right? A lot of companies struggled last year in 2020 with COVID, but the Anderson family and the Anderson brand is extremely healthy right now, and this has just proven it. And those of you who are on that aren't our current ATS driver, pick up the phone, and we've got 7 recruiters. I'm one of them, but we got 6 other recruiters that are very knowledgeable. We'd love to hear from you, and give us a call sometime. Shoot us an email. We'd love a chance to talk to you.
Well, and one thing I just want to say. Making a quick phone call and just having a 10-15 minute conversation to just let us talk to you as an individual, because every driver has got it's their own history, and we want to give everybody respect to that. So there's never any harm done in picking up the phone and making sure that you actually know what the facts and programs are specific to you. Whether you decide to come to ATS or not to come to ATS, that's kind of secondary, because until you know all the facts, you're really not sure if what you're saying no to without knowing those items. Just on the freight market, and then I'm going to move on to some of these other things that you guys care about. But you guys, I want you to be clear that, again, starting in 1955, we've always been very big in construction and in power generation, aerospace, and so mining and all of that. All of these really stable industries, especially power generation, have kept us very healthy. And we just want to let you know that coming into spring, those markets start taking off, and so we're really expecting the upcoming quarters to be stronger than we probably expected it to be. So we're just excited about that.
Absolutely.
If you're looking to work and you're looking to run, the freight is definitely here for you. So listen, one of the things that when we don't have, so been getting a lot of nice questions, a lot of nice compliments, but when it comes down to what you guys want to hear about, these Facebook Lives allow us to kind of divert and get into your questions, and then we can cover some topics. But I've got stuff in here talking about what's our orientation like. I covered a little bit about us. We're not a local type of a company, but things come up about can you guys get me home every weekend? There's so many different questions. I'm going to ramble a couple of them off here, and especially for folks that maybe listen to this after the fact, but we could be talking about home time. We can talk about training. We can talk about the experience that's required, dedicated runs, load boards. Do both lease and company trucks have APUs? When you lease, because the truck paid for, we spent a little bit of time talking about, the amount of terminals that we have throughout the nation, what the home time is like for a company driver, for a lease driver, and do our trucks have cameras? I mean, there's so many variations of what we could talk about, and I have to say that we'd really like to hear from you on what's most important. So if you're watching right now, one thing I'd ask you to do before we conclude is to please send a response on what are some of the things that you'd like to have us talk about on our next Facebook Live session, because I've got to be respectful of everybody's time. And again, we're really wanting to pay attention to the questions that are coming in. But again, we're going to be doing this pretty much every month.
Yep.
Jimmy, of these, when I'm looking at these, I think that we've covered the primary core pieces of what we wanted to do on this initial Facebook Live. But the more interactive that you guys are with us, and again, it doesn't need to end on this Facebook Live. You throw comments on here after the fact, we'll be watching it. Again, you want to send an easier email is just recruiting@atsinc.com, and just say, hey, got a question after Facebook Live last night. Drive4ats.com is really our primary spot to be. All of our programs are completely spelled out on that. So again, it's drive4ats.com. Jimmy, I'm gonna say I'm getting pretty close to wrapping this up for the evening. Mm-hmm. Does anybody have any other questions for us whatsoever? I'm gonna just take one last little peek here at questions that are coming in, but any final words that you've got, Jimmy?
No, again, thank you. A couple of my drivers, I didn't know you were going to be on, and I really appreciate that. Dustin, I've commented on that. I'll be calling you tomorrow. Albert, you know to call me anytime, bud. I love always hearing from you. I wished we were still, I'm working from home, right? So me and Robbie Schaefer, one of the other recruiters, are working from home. I used to love being up at the office and getting the tap on my desk from Albert Dupree or a Dustin or some of the drivers that I hired. But that being said, as Joe said, I just want to reiterate that this is all about you, the driver, guys, right? This is why I kind of talked to Joe about this and we kind of formulated it. We want to hear from you, right? And if there's some things that are not, you're not happy with, or, you'd like to see changed, or for the drivers that are wanting to come here, I think the drivers need to hear that too, right? And for us to be able to then evolve and change that, I brought up that three-legged stool, right? I mean, that to me is ATS, right? It's money for the driver, it's the home time, and it's the respect for the driver. Just please know that. That's what you're going to get when you call me or any one of my peers, or if you call Mr. Goering. You're going to get the complete respect of ATS. We'll treat every driver different. Every situation is different. Just give us a call, and I'd love to have a chat with some of you that aren't an ATS driver now. And if you know somebody that is looking that's possibly going, drivers that are on watching us, if you know a driver, get with your recruiter, send in a referral, and we'd like to talk to them as well. And lastly, send in your questions. We will be monitoring this. We'll keep an eye on this. If we didn't get a question, I think we answered them all. But we will answer every single one of your questions, even after the fact. So I appreciate you taking the time with us tonight, everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. And so, really quick, Paul, Michael, you wrote a question about can ATS get a new driver a CDL and a beginning experience? So a new driver, if you've got at least 6 months verified solo over the road, that's what we would consider to be beginner's experience. And so the leasing program would not be available for that, but you can come on board as a company driver and do that for a year, and then after you're done with a full year, a lease would be an option for you. But for sure, that would be the minimum. And I think I commented earlier, we have about 47% of our drivers that come to ATS in our flatbed specialized division are drivers that used to be pulling reefers, that used to be pulling tankers, that used to be pulling 53-foot dry vans. And we, of course, train you to do the securement. We've got a lot of safety protocols in place, and that's where you start as a class 4, and you move up to a class 4, class 3, class 2, class 1, and then that's when you start going up to that much bigger part to where you can actually work yourself in a heavy haul. But that, like I said, almost half of the drivers that join ATS, they've got the over-the-road tractor trailer experience. They just don't have the flatbed experience, and we absolutely are probably one of the best trainers in the industry for that. So I hope that answered your question, Paul.
Jessica, welcome to the team. Welcome to the team, Jessica. I'm glad you had a great orientation. Thanks for that.
And by the way, very nice getting to know you through Jimmy, Jessica. He's been talking a lot about you. So, all right.
I pulled reefer before flat.
Okay, and like I said, we know there's a lot of varieties in all of that. And like I said, the best way for us to tell you what we can do for you, pick up the phone and let us know. So
give me a call.
This is very informative. It's supposed to be informal and informative, but at the end of the day, any of you that joined us today, we want to have that one-on-one talk with you because there's no one driver alike, and we want to make sure we're giving you the time that you deserve. So again, everybody, we're going to be checking this out tomorrow for any additional comments that might join. I'd like to ask for 2 things. If this is something that you might join or pass on to people that you know, please tell us the day and time that works best. And I'd love to get one question that when we do this next, I really want to spend the 30 minutes to an hour talking about what's most important to you as the driver. We kind of covered some pretty important things today, but I was just trying to give you an example of the mass variety of different things that we could be talking about. But if nobody else has any questions, I'm going to give this about a 10-second pause for you guys to have a chance to send a comment. And if not, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you for taking the time to spend some time with me and Jimmy tonight. Anderson Trucking Services appreciates you just taking the interest. For all of our drivers that joined to say hello and help support us on any questions that maybe we couldn't answer, thanks for taking the time. And that's about what I got.
No, there's one there.
Okay, so Justin, bottom line is you're testing out for your CDL class. And so I'm going to give you one piece of advice. For any new drivers that are watching, get with that one company because you're going to have to go through that training. You're going to have to go to a CR England. You're going to have to go to a CRST, a Swift. Anderson Trucking only hires experienced drivers. But my piece of advice, I think we're worth getting to. And get that one job, put in your 6 months, keep it safe, and we'd love to have you coming on board 6 months from now. Okay? Not probably what you want to hear, but I'd rather talk to you about it straight up.
And that's how we roll up here. I mean, that's a great question, Justin. That's a great question. And what Joe said, that is what I tell every driver that doesn't have it. Your first 6 months are not going to be very pleasant, but you get in the time and you stick with one company. ATS is here paying 65 cents a mile. So as what Joe was saying, I really appreciate this, guys. I think this was informative for me, right, to help me as a driver advisor with you to learn some new things. To sit next to this man has been a treat to talk about ATS to you guys. We talked about if we didn't talk about something that is important to you, right, in the top things we did, put it in the comments, right? We'll make a note And we really want to design the next one.
Jimmy, I think you're
for
getting
you, the
tired.
driver. I need a sip of pop.
Yeah, do that.
But yeah, it's all good. And again, just thank you guys. Thank you. We appreciate it. And I look forward to hearing from some of you, and I'll be calling some of you that were in the comments there.
Okay, you guys. So listen, the main group that started with us is still with us on here. I hope this was valuable for you, and again, help us do better next time.
Absolutely.
With us doing this every month, these might turn into be 15-minute things because we got it refined down to really talking about what matters. But this first one is being a little bit more casual to just really tell you guys that we're looking for those comments and questions to come in so we can make these as positive as possible for everybody. So, what do we got here?
Justin, there you go. Go get that CDL, Justin. Go get 6 months and give us a call, sir.
And keep it safe.
Awesome.
Keep it safe. So, all right. Thanks for spending time with Anderson Trucking Service tonight. And you guys, if you got folks that are kind of interested in this, one thing I'll ask you to do. So, Jimmy kind of talked about the 65 cents, but that's only for our company positions. One of the most important things that you guys can ask any company is forget about CPM, forget about how many miles you're running. Ask them what it is that you're going to make on a settlement check on a week. Most companies don't want to talk about it. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter how you spin it. Those ranges of what kind of money you can make is really what is the game changer. So best of luck in whatever decisions you're making. Anderson would love to hear from you, at least have the opportunity to make sure that we've fully informed you. And we'll see everybody in about a month.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.